Chelsea.
No, man, and I think, like, look, see, Sancho, look, because again, I was a huge fan of him at Dortmund. There is a really good player there. But the issue with Sancho is that you just don't have enough credit in the bank. So it's like you coming out with that statement. Yeah, I get it. You want to like protect your image because you feel that you've been attacked. But when United lost that game, was any United fan saying, man, damn it, I wish Sancho was in the squad? Man, if only Sancho was there. No one was saying that because the performances you had last season did not put enough of a strong argument that you should be in the team. And I think if you're Ten Hag and you don't respond and you say no comment, then it just fuels the fire of like, oh my gosh, Sancho versus Ten Hag. So I think Ten Hag, I think he said the only thing that he could say. And I don't really
Mm.
know whether those comments were really throwing Sancho
Shade,
under the
yeah.
bus by saying that he's not at that level. So
I
Yeah,
just don't
one
think the
thing.
team's good fit for him though. Like with Man United, like the way they play, I don't really see them getting. Obviously, they try and go to Rashford and they try and get it up through the middle. But like even when we saw Anthony against Arsenal, he was completely isolated on the right side. They're not really using him. So I just think if he was in a squad and a system that actually goes, that the whole point of it is to get one-on-ones on the wing. If you look at Arsenal, how we isolate Martinelli with their right back, Saka with their left backs, and we use Erdegaard and Rice in the presses to create those overloads. Then I think he could. I think he would do. He would.
what it is,
I
Sancho?
don't think it's happening though. I'll be honest with you. I don't think you're getting.
Yeah,
I don't
get
think
an
it's
answer.
happening, but I would love it. I would love it.
I
Do you know
think
Make
what,
it happen.
though?
Make
The
it
thing is,
happen.
obviously, I've watched every game he's played for Man United. And the thing about him that infuriates me on the pitch, forget keeping shape and tracking back and all the prerequisites that should exist. From an attacking point of view, I look at him and go, you've got this fullback. Try and cook him. It's identical to how I feel about Anthony. It's like run at the guy and do him. And they just, more often than not, he doesn't. And
Turn back.
I've heard these fanboys say things like, no, it's about keeping possession. If he does that and loses it, there'll be another turnover of play. It's like, it's the weirdest way to defend him. You run at your man. You're a winger, you're an attacker. Your job is to create and score goals, not to maintain possession and drag somebody out of position as your primary job. City fans tried pulling that fast one when it comes to Jack Grealish for 18 months. Oh no, his job is to like sit out wide so he creates space for others. 100 million to sit out wide and creates fuck off. Like no one believes that bullshit.
I think there's two things. I think with Sancho, I think it was easy for him to go and do that. A, because he had confidence, right? And B, also because in the German league, there's always space in behind. So when he's got runners running behind in transition, then you can cook his man and you can run at him and stuff. A lot of the time when United are playing and he's getting the ball, and even with Anthony, it's a low block and they haven't got any space to run into. So they're just like, they're doing this, and then they turn back and just pass it back to the fullback. So they're not as effective. And I've also got a question to ask actually the United people. If you had won the game against Arsenal, is this even a big story? Sancho left out the squad.
I don't think it comes out. I don't think any of this comes out.
That's my point. I think it's a passing comment. Sancho was left out. He just goes and says that, and United fans might pick up on it and speak about it internally, but the rest of us wouldn't even know. We'd be talking about the fact that, oh my God,
because they lost,
Garnacho went and scored the winner. Garnacho went and scored the winner. Wow. Garnacho won you the game. And because of a millimeter, you didn't win the game. So it's not that big of a story. We're not talking about, Rashford being left out of the team or Bruno Fernandes being left out of the team. This is Sancho. Like, what has he done? Like, is that what Have Hope said? Where's the credit? What has he done?
Hannah, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I agree. I think, if we'd won and it was that Garnacho goal that had won it, no one really would be talking about it. Of course, like amongst the fan base, people would pick it up, but this is the problem. Like, everyone's just so reactionary, whether that's the media, rival fans, our own fans, because our own fans stir the pot so much and they really, really don't help the situation, which is a big frustration. And like you say, it's kind of remembering where the root cause of this comes from. And it isn't Ten Hag, it isn't Sancho, it's the disrepute that's going on at the club at the moment. So, yeah, I agree with JJ. It would not be of a big deal if we had one, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's only really, this is the thing, I've seen a few comments saying Terry, Ten Hag can do no wrong in your eyes, but that's just incorrect, because in what I've just said is that you shouldn't have spoke about it publicly, in my opinion. So there's criticism for Ten Hag, but it's only really Baller FC and Sancho's fanboys that are kind of crying about this. And they've been doing it for a while now I know Anthony's bad, but they're like, the way that they've tried to spin this narrative of, we're not doing well on the right. If only Sancho could get an opportunity. and ignoring the past 2 years where he's that's the element of the argument that's just tiring and jarring for me, is he's had starts. He's had opportunities. He started the first 9 games last season and started 12 of the last 16 games last campaign and had a few good performances in that. He's had another opportunity, but this all stems back to, and fans will not delve deeper because it probably doesn't serve the narrative. The manager, I think you're right, Monty. I don't think he's someone that Ten Hag wants, but this is what happens when you change direction and projects and processes, or whatever word people like to use, managers and systems and philosophies, every 18 months to 2 years. You are left with the remnants and the skeletons and the legacy issues that the previous manager of his purchases and what they've left behind. And we can't ever clear them out quick enough and buy quick enough for the new manager to have a squad. No manager at Man United's entire history since Fergie has completed the build of their squad. Now, rivals say you spent loads of money. We have, but you are ignoring the fact that Ollie nearly got there, and then they went against. But even then, some things were late. Even then, he didn't quite get everybody that he wanted. He almost got there, but he was the worst of all the managers. LVG didn't get everybody he wanted. Jose, after one summer, started getting told, no more this, no more that. You can only have Fred. We've done it to every single manager, and we're kind of doing it again now. And I know rivals hate it. They'll say, look how much net spend you've had. Yeah, we've wasted so much money. That's because we keep having to spend big for the new manager because we're trying to, because they're a completely different manager of a different ideology, and you've got to try and clear it all out. It's just a mess. The club's a mess. We've got to stick by this manager. You have to.
Wait, let me ask this to you, like, kind of answer Terrace, because a lot of people that I've spoken to, United fans, are saying, like, Ten Hag out, that he's the wrong man. You're playing dinosaur football because he didn't get Frankie de Jong. This guy is playing caveman ball and he needs to go. So my thing, though, is Ten Hag really the issue? Because I thought that by getting United third last season, he got you guys a bit of credit. Because in my view, it's like, what do you expect United to do with this squad? So do you expect United to play a better brand of football because Ten Hag has, quote-unquote, gotten all of his players, even though we fleeced you for months through 60 mil? Good luck with him and everything. But
yeah, I mean,
do you believe that...
I said it earlier, I don't have a problem with Man United's football. I think it is overstated that it's really bad. I think it's not even... I don't enjoy any... I've never... Unless the Man United are 3 or 4-0 up early, I've never enjoyed a single Man United game in my whole life. It's too stressful. I don't really enjoy.
You want that silk ball, bro. You want that silk ball. Come on.
No, listen. That's not what Man United football's ever been. We've always been a very direct team that plays counter-attack of football away from home. People are talking. These Man United fans said, I don't want this. That's not what Man United is built on. Go and support a club that plays differently then. You did not fall in love with Man United playing the kind of football you're asking for. It's not what we do. That's it at the end of the day. There's nothing really wrong with our football. Could it improve? Yes, but it's about people delivering. Last year, when we didn't win a lot of those away games against teams in the top 9, include also games away like Brighton and a game away against West Ham right near the end of the season, we didn't not win those games because of style of football. We didn't win those games because we didn't take our chances. And then what happens is we concede and we have a mentality brain freeze and don't play our football. We had 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances to go 1-0, 2-0 up against West Ham. If we do that, I think we win that game. Brighton, we had 4 open, massive chances to score, missed them. Ended up obviously conceding that penalty in the dying moment. So many games, even against Liverpool, we were the better team up until you scored. That was away at Anfield, and then we capitulated. People are putting too much mind into what does the football look like and how does it make me feel, and they're missing the real fundamental problems that this club has had for the past 10 years. And holding 5% more possession, which would, by the way, would put us into the top 3 teams in the Premier League for possession gained, is not going to make us a better football team. Mentality will, and clinical edge in the right moments. That's literally it. People are overstating it, and they're making football more complicated than it needs to be. It's madness.
This whole silky football, I want to see whatever type of football. At the end of the day, the most important thing for all of us is getting that dub, getting the W. Literally.
Silk as well adds to it.
You saw your favorite manager, Jose Mourinho, play the worst football, but you just kept him winning and winning and winning. That's what you care about.
No, stop it. No, that's a lie.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't.
It wasn't the worst.
2004-05 defensive football, that was prime Chelsea. And it wasn't the most pleasing on the eye, but you got the wins.
Fans, can I ask you a question here? This guy here, Travivelli, says, how it looks matters. Did you care that when you won the Premier League and Champions League, you weren't playing as football that was as pretty as Man City's?
You don't care when you're
Actually,
winning.
no.
You don't. But as soon as you don't win, then you do then care.
Yeah. So you don't. And this here says it's not about possession football. The problem is Ten Hag, dead banter by the way. Ball is you rely too much on Trashford, and when he has a shit game, you don't get results. So again, we don't exactly what I said. You've proven me right. We don't have enough players with clinical edge to put the chances or the game away. Because if people took their chances, you would also then see a more relaxed Man United who would then control more of the ball and more of the game. It's literally, you're absolutely right. We don't have enough quality up front to kill these games off. You tried to like have a dig, but you've proven the point. You put a more prolific team up front and Man United kill these games off. And people will call it individual moments of brilliance. That's literally what Haaland did 50 odd times last year. His brilliance as a striker scored those goals. That's it.
And also, so look, see, let's be real. If not for a freaking pubic hair of an offside, United win that game 2-1. And then if they win that game, suddenly, man, Ten Hag, that was a brilliant counter-attacking strategic setup that they had to give. Because let's be real, strategically, Saka was kept quiet. And United had a very good game plan of soaking on pressure and then countering. So if not for a pubic hair, United win 2-1. Wow, what a brilliant tactical plan that United had. But they lost the game. Then it's like, oh, Ten Hag, why are you going up against Sancho, this or that? Because what I just find crazy is the amount of United fans I've spoken to who now view Ten Hag as the villain and as the problem. And I say, wait a minute. So if you sack him now, who do you then hire?
But they're liars. They don't view him. Listen, they don't view him as this. What they're doing is what they've done to the last. They've seen what's happened the last 3 times we've been through this. They see that on social media you can grow very quickly by turning on a manager as opposed to anything else. Loads of people grew for the LVG, Jose, Oli eras. They're just jumping on that bandwagon early. They're repeating the same spiel, the same patterns of play, favoritism. I called this out a week ago. I knew what was going to come out of their mouths, and they've all tweeted or said the same thing on camera because it's obvious. I know what their game is. They're clout chasers. They know he's not the major problem at the club. They know he's not the major problem at the club, but they're going to pretend that he is. And they'll say, and I literally started seeing Man United fans tweet this yesterday, and it actually I nearly pissed my pants. A better manager with this squad would have a challenge for the title. They've said that 6 times on the bounce now. 6 times on the bounce. And this, the bit that gets me the most is that there are morons that go, yeah, they're right. Honestly, these people are allowed to breed human beings. And they have this
international break, Terrace.
It's
never
mental.
It's mental.
It just don't make sense. These guys just don't ever learn. Sometimes the grass ain't green on the other side, man. Like it makes no sense. You can bring,
but they suckle on the nipple of on the nipple of rivals, right? They're sucking on that little breast milk of their rivals, right? Because the same rivals that say your team's trash, your players are trash, will then gas you up and go, yeah, you're right. If you had a better manager, this squad would bang, bruv. And these Man United fans fall for it because they're so desperate for the attention and the likes. And it's a lot harder to support your team on the field. I'm not supporting the club off the field right now. Some of the things they've done are a disgrace. But on the field than it is to, because it's harder because you've got all these rivals coming for you. Our football ain't as bad as people are making out. The team does need more to be purchased. The manager, by the way, is allowed to buy some duds. All managers can buy dud players. Imagine if halfway through last season, West Ham sacked David Moyes because Skamaka didn't work. Might not won our first European Cup in 40 odd years. I keep going, got to be held accountable when you sign a bad player. So by that logic, every time a manager signs a bad player at a club, they get sacked. Shut up.
You're never going to get a 10 out of 10. Aren't perfect transfer window on every single signing. But I promise you, you could go out, you could sack Ten Hag, you could get De Zerbi. Your problems would still be there. You would still be the same Man United we've seen. You've done it manager after manager after manager. It's not going to change anything because you're still a terribly run football club. Still really poor. Even Sancho, you look at Sancho now and you go, he's been a flop, but all of this smear campaign that's coming out and leaking against him that I think comes from the club is counterproductive because now you're devaluing your own player. You're just a terribly run football club. Go and get Zidane. Go and get De Zerbi. You're not winning the league and under the way you're run at the moment.
I do think a lot of the Erik Ten Hag hate this season's come about because of the certain transfers that United fans didn't want. I.e. Mason Mount. Because of the amount of banter that Chelsea fans, even Liverpool fans to an extent, have been given to the United fans about Mason Mount and how they signed him and he's not going to do much for United. They all started to go on the bandwagon of talent ID isn't good, the style of football ain't great, we don't see a vision with that kind of thing. It's just because fans don't see the type of players that they want come to their club, and they're like, "Oh, the manager doesn't know football."
No.
I think as well, another one, look, everyone's trying to buy these players, but I think Man United are quite going off their sort of roots, similar to what Arsenal did for years, and we had sort of the rebuild of it. Is focusing on the youth. Like Carrington used to pop out players non-stop. They wouldn't necessarily not always start, but they would generate so much money as well. Like going to other leagues around the world, or they'd loan them out, bring them in, and they've sort of like drifted from that and just trying to buy all these big names. Yes, they're a massive club with a huge marketing reach around the world, but you don't always have to do. I think if you get a homegrown player like we have with Saka, it connects the fans more with the club. And yes, you have Rashford, but that's it, really. I mean, Garnacho I wouldn't class him as a Carrington player. Yes, you got him young as a youth player, but I'm not classing him as Carrington. What you need is, I think, more homegrown talent. That's the
like
whole point.
Trent for us.
Yeah, but like just a player that comes through your ranks, and because you connects the fans to the players. And when you have a series that comes through.
But Man United signed Ryan Giggs a year older than we signed Garnacho. Like Garnacho's been with Man United since 2015, which he's 19 now, so that was 8 years ago. So he would have been 11 years old when he joined Man United. That's a Carrington player. He's just not English. But that's 11 years old joining Man United makes you a Carrington player for me.
Yeah.
Did he? I didn't even know he was there for that long. I thought he was only there for like a year.
Ryan Giggs signed for Man United when he was 16. He wasn't well, we didn't play at Carrington then. We were at the Cliff. But he didn't come through the youth system at Man United as an 8, 9, 10-year-old. But yeah, no, listen, I hear what you're saying, and there's issues there, but I just feel that I don't even know how to say it in the right way without being offensive. Things are not perfect at Man United, but the people saying nothing's improved. I'm like, hang on, this is a team that you all predicted to come 8th last year, came 3rd, won a cup, got to the FA Cup final. Yes, this season we haven't started off amazingly, but I think we're going to get better. And we suddenly come back and win the next couple of Premier League games. Then what? There's such an overreaction. Unbelievable, in my personal opinion, to what's going on the football pitch, where the more focus should be off of that.